I've seen lots of rabbis talk about what Maimonides wrote about Jesus, and he kind of described Jesus as doing God's will to turn the nations from their pagan idol worship closer, like preparing them to believe in Messiah and the God of Israel. Is that why you say, how can you not be happy with 2 billion goyim bowing down to one Jew tonight?
In America, there used to be a very, very big holy rabbi. His name was Rabbi Avigdor Miller. And they asked him that question: what's better, that the United States will be ruled by atheists that don't care about ethic, morality? They married men with men, they can marry people with animals, women with women. They make the world like in San Francisco, people walk naked on the street. They don't want to believe in God. They don't care about values. They don't care about family values, about children and respect their parents. What's better, to have this kind of people to run America, or to have Christians, although they follow the wrong God and they idolize a man, but they copy a lot of the good things from the Torah, like respecting the parents, about marriage, about faithfulness, about charity, about helping the orphans and the widows, and making a system with a police and a court, and obey the divine rules in a state of in the United States. So he said we have to thank God that the Christians ruling America. I mean, that was 40, 50 years ago. Today, unfortunately, it's a different America. But we're talking about 50 years ago. We have to thank God that the Christians run America, because at least they teach values and they teach about marriage, and they're against homosexuality and they're against a lot of things that God hates very much. At least they spread many of the good things to the world. What would be better? That the Gentiles would not have any direction, they would not know anything from God, and they would live like people live in a forest, in a zoos, with no religion, with no nothing. So at least one very good thing came from the Christians, that they taught 2 billion people to follow the creator of the world. The problem is that in the Torah, there is no distinction between if you are a good person or if you're a bad person. Once you're an idol worshiper, whether you are a Jew, whether you are a Gentile, unfortunately, that's a death penalty. Again, there's no execution for 2,000 years. I don't want anyone to mislead the public again that I'm calling for death or anything like that. The exact opposite. No one is allowed to use violence against any sinner, against any criminal. Everything has to go to the court, and the court that was responsible for execution is no longer in effect for 2,000 years. Therefore, there's no execution for murderers or
But
for
when
gays.
Moshiach comes, though, if somebody is an atheist or they're a pagan, then would it be death penalty?
No, there
Like in the
won't be a
world
death
to come?
penalty we will never have death penalty by people for very simple reason.
Mhm.
According to all the prophets, they all spoke about the end of days, which I just made a film now. I just made a brand new film, The End of Days, which I recommend very much to watch. I gather all the prophecies for Jews and for Gentiles. And according to the prophecies, when God will send the Messiah, the purpose will be to purify the world from all evilness, from all the murderers and from the thieves and from the idol worshippers and from the gays and from all the people who went against the divine rules. Jews and Gentiles, no discrimination. There will be righteous Jews and righteous Gentiles that will survive the final war, which is Gog and Magog, which we are very close to, as you can see what's happening now in the world. It will be a 12 minutes war, and 2/3 of the people will be wiped out from the face of the earth in minutes. You can read Zechariah 14 and describe how it's going to be. Now, I want to remind you, when Zechariah wrote this prophecy 2,400 years ago, they didn't even have guns. There was no bullets, no conventional weapon. Needless to say, no biological weapon and no nuclear weapon. So there was bow and arrow and sword, and that's how people used to fight. And to write such a prophecy, if it's not from God, you have to be super, super delusional to write such a thing in a book 2,400 years ago, that the final war will take minutes. 2/3 of the people will be wiped out, and the third that will remain, Jews and Gentiles, will have a grace period of time that God would give them enough time to repent, to clean and to fix their crooked way. Why? The people that will remain, that means they also have a lot of good things about them. So therefore, there will be a lot of Gentiles that will remain, but there will be so many Jews who will not remain. So therefore, there's no discrimination. If a person is a righteous Gentile, when he die now, even without Messiah, he goes to heaven. The Gentiles don't have to convert to Judaism to go to heaven. We actually always tell them, don't convert to Judaism. Stay a righteous Gentile.
Yeah,
Don't be a
don't
murderer. Don't be a thief. Don't be an idol worshiper. Believe in one God and love him. Obey the law of the land. Don't eat animals unless they dead first. Not like when they move in a plate, like in China, they eat animals that are still alive. And once you do that, and no sex crimes with the 7 relatives include homosexuality that is forbidden for Gentiles. If a Gentile is not an homosexual, is living with a woman, and they're faithful to each other, and they have kids, and they live modest life, and is not a murderer, is not an idol worshiper, is not a thief, is not eating animals unless they dead first, he believe in one God, he's going to heaven. Assuming he's not a Nazi, not a racist, doesn't want people to die because of the color of the skin or because of their nationality. So there are so many Gentiles that are wonderful people. They don't follow any specific religion. They keep the 7 laws. They love God. They have nothing against the Jewish people or any other ethnics. Those kind of Gentiles will remain. Now, and if they die today, they go to heaven. They don't have to be Jewish.